Music is an incredibly powerful tool. The Egyptians used music by beating massive bass drums in succession to keep their workers on track whilst erecting the pyramids. Hitler used music as propaganda to persuade an entire nation to wage war for something many may not have believed in or even fully understood. Music can persuade two total strangers to hate each other or to fall in love for life. It can persuade children to kill each other. Or music can alter the paths of prenatal infants in ways that we may not even understand, though we do know them to be true. Music therapy can alleviate pain and stress, and it can encourage well-being through its expression. Music is vital to human demeanor, whether we know it or not. It can alleviate stress, and conversely, if we don't get enough, it can cause stress. We do know that the affective and aesthetic responses to music are very real. For a movie to be particularly captivating or effective, it must have an effective dramatic line. In agreement with the formalism theory, this means that music should not be noticed by itself. There are 4 parts that when combined make up sound design in film. These parts are musical accompaniment, dialogue, background musical ambiance, and sound effects. Moviegoers are often seeking entertainment rather than critical examination. Therefore, when the semiotics of sound and music and film flow so dead-on accurately that we hardly even notice them, we process this peripherally. Conversely, when they don't flow so well, we realize this and process it centrally. This helps develop the notion that sound and film go hand in hand. They need each other equally, and in terms of effective persuasion, you cannot have one without the other. Editing used to be a job that was reserved only for women. The task of cutting and pasting clips together was considered to be very much like sewing or knitting. That was until sound became commonplace in film. This added an aspect of technicality to the job, and men quickly took over the position as editor once they realized how much power that the position held. The editor of a film has the most control out of anyone on the job because not only do they work with the audience and the cast members, but they work hand in hand with the director. By controlling the formalist conception of all the aspects that make up a film, they in turn control the meaning. The only other person with this power is the sound designer, because once the film is edited, they apply the sound. Why is music necessary in film, you might ask? Music heightens drama, romance, comedy, and it conjures specific emotions instantly. Music leaves nothing to chance, which is why it is a vital tool in the persuasion of films. Music is associative, which means that people relate sounds with the images that they see on the TV on an unconscious level. You take in music orally at first, before your subconscious inner ear can process these messages and associate imagery with what you're seeing.
Film without sound is less effective than sound without film. Take this example from the movie Kick-Ass. Now contrast this with the infamous soundbite from the movie Fahrenheit 9/11. The effective difference between the two examples is palpable. This may be true in part because not every image has a sound. However, the point is that when we must cognitively apply sound to an image, it never registers like it does when it is actually orally processed. Also, many sounds can be applicable to different images or scenarios. For instance, the sounds of an old southern slave plantation are arguably indistinguishable from the sound of a sprawling southern property today. However, when one understands the context, they can more readily imagine this setting. One must not forget that the notion of silence is perhaps the most common puzzle piece used in what makes up most movies' sound design, and it can mean any number of things, from suspense to insignificance. When seeing something boring like the wall or floor or chair, the elaboration likelihood model supports that we are not as cognitively driven to apply meaning as we are when hearing a sound. Now if we change the camera angle and add some musical ambiance, all of a sudden we feel like kicking our feet up and wish we were relaxing in the comfort of that chair.
As with silent films of the past, people associate meaning with the images they see on the screen. To hear an image, one must be very familiar with what they are seeing and the sounds that that image could make. However, it is much easier to see a sound internally. An image can be incredibly powerful and conjure millions of emotions, like this one.
Ernesto Guevara de la Serna, or Che Guevara, was an Argentinian revolutionary and political figure. The leader of the Cuban and internationalist guerrillas, he realized early on that the only way to remedy the social impoverishment of Latin America was through revolution. However, hearing a song by Rage Against the Machine can conjure similar associations with this image. Combined with a funk, hardcore rap, politically and socially activist soundtrack that will likely invoke even more people than those who understand the image for its real meaning.
As Aristotle said, the soul never thinks without a mental image. Some argue that he was speaking in terms of the gift of sight. Others agree that the greatest thing the human soul can do is see. All angles confirm the formalist theory that the aspects of sight and sound are central to each other's persuasive success. In relation to formalism, sound also complements camera angles and many other aspects that make up a film. This leads me to the idea of contrapuntal music, or the association between two or more sounds. The word contrapuntal, coming from the words counterpoint, refers to the effectiveness or the emotional effect of two or more sounds, be it by harmony or by dissonance. If one can understand the idea behind formalism, then it is not hard to realize that each individual aspect, say sound, costumes, lighting, set design, camera angles, and post-production, can be singled out and taken individually. Therefore, it is only logical that a great deal more can be taken by the simultaneous absorption of all these stimuli than by one medium alone.